Hello, Claudia. Welcome back. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, Conrad. I've missed you.
You've been gone for what, a couple weeks, right?
A little over a couple weeks, and you're getting ready to go soon. So we were electric road tripping
That's right.
north,
It was
escaping
fun to
the
watch.
fires and the smoke, and you will be going to the beach, right?
Going the opposite direction, going south to the beach. That's right.
Nice.
So, good thing about me here, you there, is that there's
You've been
always things
busy.
happening. So we'll be talking in a few moments about an art installation that has been here in the desert on sunny dunes across from Townie Bagels called Popsicles. And we're going to talk to the artist to know a little bit more about that installation.
He's
Of course,
amazing.
he's amazing. Correct. Exactly. And then we're also going to be talking about our upcoming event starting in October at the Palm Springs Cultural Center called Martinis and Moxie.
And that's going to be even more amazing.
Even more amazing. And last but not least, we're also going to talk about Jazzville because there's there's lots of art happening here, lots of entertainment happening here in the desert.
So, if many of you out there know, we have now solidified our very special Frank Sinatra events at the Palm Springs Cultural Center, known as Martinis and Moxie, to 3 dates that you must attend. Get tickets October 15th, November 19th, and December 12th, where we will have a great soiree of piano, cocktails, hors d'oeuvres. Conrad and I will be introducing a vintage Frank Sinatra film. It's going to be great. And tickets are now on sale at psculturalcenter.org.
Right. And when you go to the website, you'll be able to click on the ticket section, which will give you all the detail about the special guests that we have who will be talking about their time with Frank Sinatra. It's really a celebration of the Frank Sinatra years, along with watching a movie. You're going to listen to these folks tell you stories, and Claudia and I are going to be doing some research about the movie and the era and the time. It should be a lot of fun.
And when you come in, you'll be greeted to either a cocktail and some beautiful hors d'oeuvres, or open bar and the same beautiful hors d'oeuvres. Alan on piano, singing, me doing a little chanteuse, Conrad there entertaining, and the two of us on stage introducing our special guests and the film.
Exactly. And they will also be able to enjoy a art exhibit by Casey Scott Brown, who will be doing Martinis and Moxie, which you'll be able to buy some of her art if you so choose. And we also have a great little sponsor, a neon, Ruffino neon lights, I believe it is, neon signs. And they will have a variety of neon signs that look like martinis that you can also purchase if you so choose.
These are all necessary for your home bar lounge when you're putting Frank Sinatra on the turntable, right?
Exactly. It's going to be a blast. And we look forward to seeing you at one of them, if not all of them. And definitely remember, the December 12th party is Frank Sinatra's birthday, and we have some stuff in the planning stages that we know you are going to love. It's going to be a blast.
Happy birthday, dear Frank.
Claudia, I know that recently you went to one of the Jazzville events over at the Palm Springs Casino. I believe it's called the Cascade Lounge. Tell me about that. I've seen so much publicity on these events. Tell me, what did you see?
Well, first of all, the Cascade Lounge in itself has been recently renovated just during the pandemic, and Barry Martin and Mark Allen have done a tremendous job highlighting some of the best jazz acts around. And last Thursday was Nutty. And Nutty is Sunny Moon and a whole jazz ensemble that is just mind-blowing. And they played for an hour and 45 minutes, but what they do is unique arrangements of both contemporary and straight up jazz, old school Frank or James Bond sounds, and we couldn't stop dancing and moving. It was, and you know, Barry and Mark really do it up with their gold suits and the cigarette girls, and it's just a throwback that's so fun. And let me tell you, if you haven't seen Nutty, it's like nothing you've ever seen before. They will be coming back in January to Palm Springs. So
yeah, I saw your video that you posted on Facebook, and I thought, wow, again, I missed something I needed to be at. And all of those Jazzville events look so professionally done in such a great little space that I think this is something that the desert has been waiting for a long time.
You know, Conrad, it is still summer. We've had a little bit of a heat wave, and who doesn't have a yearning for a popsicle. And I often pay a visit to Tiny Bagel, but on the way, I'm always looking at those hands holding up those larger than life plywood cutout popsicles. And I never really knew much about the artist, John Cherney, and you had a chance to interview him while we were away. Tell us more about this fantastic artist.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So he does large, what I call large item, but it's not just large structure
Large format,
artwork.
yeah.
Right, installations. Mainly his artwork is play. I don't want to say too much because we're going to show a little bit of a video, but the majority of his artwork is placed on the side of highways. So cars go by, the art is very big, so you're able to see it. Well, he knew someone here in the desert, asked them if he could hook them up with someone. They spoke with the folks over at Palm Springs City Hall. They got together and they gave him a spot across from Tiny Bagel where he was able to place these popsicles. They are about 12 feet high. He is a very interesting artist. He comes to us out of Salinas, but he came down for this to put this art here, and he's already back up there getting ready for his next thing. So let's take a look at this video that we shot of him. You're really going to learn a lot about him. Very, very interesting artist, and very glad to have him here in the Palm Springs area. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream, especially during summertime. But here in the desert, it might be better to call out for a popsicle because they're a little more refreshing. And we have today a gentleman who knows all about popsicles here in the desert. This is artist John Cherney. Hey, John, how are you today?
Hi, Conrad. Very well, thank you.
Thank you for joining us. So, John, is it safe to say that you know a few things about popsicles here in the desert?
Well, I know a lot more now than I did before. It's been probably the best reaction I've ever gotten from one of my pieces. Social media is loving this thing. People are wanting to do album covers in front of it and all kinds of things. It's been cool.
You have an installation. It's called Popsicles. It's on sunny dunes just west of Indian Canyon. It's in an empty lot. And one of the terrific things about it is A, it's free, and B, it's outside. When did you start in this large item installation? And tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I was graduated with an art degree. I was a typical artist for the first 10 years of my career. I did portrait work in Los Angeles for the television industry.
Oh, is that right?
Of all things. And they were mostly graphite, pencil, gray, black and white portraits. Well, what I would do in my hometown is every summer I might come up and ask a farmer if I could paint his barn, paint a scene on his barn. I'd done a couple of murals in college, and I loved the public art aspect of what I did. I wanted more people to see my work. And then I started playing with my barns, putting three-dimensional elements, cut out things in front of a barn. I did a fake garage scene. So I painted a Corvette, cut it out, stuck it right in front of the barn. And then I started adding people to the scene. And ultimately it led to me forgetting about the barn itself, but doing my cutouts and sticking them in the ground. And that's where my blueprint became to be what I do right now.
So let's talk about the popsicles now. What was the inspiration and what is the idea behind this installation?
The popsicles was one that kind of came to me a little bit in a dream. I dreamt about cupcakes, and I thought about, wouldn't it be cool to do something very bright and colorful? I woke up in the morning and I started thinking about, well, there's a famous artist named Wayne Thiebaud, who's well known for doing cupcakes. Okay, that took care of that. I can't do that. But then popsicles really came to me quickly, colorful, different color popsicles, but not just popsicles. I want to have a human element to the scene. Where I had different nationalities of people, Black, white, Latino, holding the popsicles. And then where it went was important because a popsicle in Sacramento isn't mean as much to me as a popsicle in Palm Springs when it's 110 degrees. It might cool you off a little bit.
In the desert, there are so many open spaces and lots. How this spot?
Well, I reached back to my only connection I had with someone living in Palm Springs, a woman named Janet Spiegel. She reached out to the city. That person led me to the Public Arts Commission in Palm Springs, and then I did my proposal. I didn't know they had a whole deal for giving money out to artists to promote, to do public art. So it led to them finding a spot on Sunny Dunes Road, right across from the popular towny bagels,
That's right.
which turned out to be a great spot.
So let's talk a little bit about the materials and the size. It's my understanding that the majority of your large items installations, they are large. I mean, I was out there the other day to look at this one, and I stood next to it and took a picture, and you could see that I'm about half the size of the Popsicle. But some of your other art is probably maybe 3-4 people tall. How do you decide on a size, especially for the Popsicles, in that space?
The size is dependent on the traffic generally driving by it. Most of my stuff is on highways. So it has to be large. People are driving 60, 70 miles an hour. The one on Sunny Dunes Road, that was going to be more of a walking traffic, cars driving 35 miles an hour maybe. So I didn't need it to be that tall. 12-foot tall is a good medium size for me to make it a good presence. It's contracted to the end of this year, December 31st.
And John, what does it take? How long does it take to produce something like this?
Each popsicle took me about 2 or 3 days. So really it was 2.5 weeks to paint the whole thing. If my idea, I think, is worthy of its next step, I will make a little mock-up, a little plywood mock-up of it. It helps me get a sense of the spacing, how far in front they should be, how much separation, should they overlap a little bit, things like that.
Is there a web page that you can provide me, or an Instagram page or something?
Yeah, I have a website, johncernymurals.com, and Instagram, John Cerny, @JohnCerny.
So John, thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome, Conrad. Thank you.
Oh, Conrad, what an interesting guy. I mean, to think that he started on barns, just kind of like, can I paint on your barn for practice? And what he morphed into, and this whole 3-dimensional roadside, like you gotta see it when you drive by, like larger than life. So,
and they're so big, though, that pieces of art, so big. It's interesting.
What the color, I mean, the color of the Popsicles here is so perfect for Palm Springs.
And he actually mentioned, I don't know I forget if this was in the video or not, but he says that even though the sun is pounding down here in the desert, this could last for years and years, even though the installation is only going to be here till the end of the year, but it can actually last long. So he knows what he's doing. He's putting the art out there, and he knows how to keep it as long as possible.
What kind of paint did he use?
Yeah, really.
So, oh, that was great. Thank you so much. That was wonderful that you got to talk to him.
Definitely. And okay, Palm Springs, all of Coachella Valley, it's here. Sunny Dunes, come on by and take a look.
Happy end of summer and happy Labor Day to all of us.
Amen to that.
Don't work, just go in your pool.
All right, see you later.